Hey YouTube viewers, welcome to Big Mike's Motor Pool. Today we're going to work on a video on how to do an install on a helicoil. I hope you can see that. In another video on the Junkyard Dog case tractor, I'm working on replacing the alternator. Actually, I shouldn't say replacing, I'm swapping out the generator to an alternator. I made a bracket. But unfortunately this hole is stripped out and it's going to be weak. I could probably leave it and just run this one and this bolt, but I'd rather do it right. So today we're going to work on doing a helicoil insert. This is a very convenient way to fix threads if they're hogged out and chewed up. I believe this is aluminum, which leads no surprise as to why the threads are pulled out. If this thing was loose and vibrating, it could have chewed the threads up, over tightening, cross threading. But we're going to fix it today, and it should be good to go and give me years of trouble-free service. So I'm going to get things opened up and get started, and we'll continue in just a second. Alright, I hope you can see this pretty well. Helicoil sets come with instructions. I got mine at Napa. I'm doing a 3/8 16 tap today. So what we have here in the directions is pretty easy to follow. It's showing you the drill, the depth of your insert. You'll notice it says wear safety goggles, which you should always do, and do not drill crooked. This has to be straight so it lines everything up correctly. Once you drill down, you run their tap in. The helicoil set comes with a tap, and it will tell you what drill size to use on the tap. It's usually a very odd size. I think this one was 25/64. I don't have a 25/64, so I'm using a slightly smaller 3/8. The drill will probably eat up a little bit of it, and it probably won't be a big deal. Once I tap it out, I'll run the tap in and out a few times, and it should make it okay. But you should try to get the right size drill. Then helicoil comes with a special insert tool, which you'll see in the third setting here. You just twist it in, screw the helicoil in until it bottoms out. And it says the top of the insert must be 1/4 to 1/2 turn below the top of the surface. So that would be the safe zone for bolting anything back to it. And there's a little tang in the bottom of the helicoils, which I'll show you. Hopefully you'll be able to see it in the video, because it's kind of small. Get one out here. Yeah, you can see it there. That little tab is how you run the helicoil in. Now I'll get the tool. You can see on the end of the tool there's a spot for it to grab onto the tang. You thread the tool and the helicoil together, and it'll end up looking like that. And then you just screw it in. Now when you get to the bottom of your hole and you have your helicoil in deep enough, you're supposed to get a punch that's about the same size as the helicoil. It should fit pretty snug inside the threads. And you just give it a strike with a hammer, and it's supposed to knock off the little tang. You can magnet, to get it out, or you can suck it out with a vacuum, or you can leave it in there if it doesn't bother you, if it's not going to interfere with anything. So we're going to get started here on drilling. I don't have the best room, so I'm going to try to do this without taking the body panels off. I think I'm straight. Oh, drill's backwards. Oh, it's sticking. Here we go. Now that should be enough. I'm drilling in the new material down there, and because the drill went a little cockeyed and got hung up, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be probably close to that 25/64. Not too awful worried about it. So now we're going to tap the hole out. I had to stop the video because I forgot to grab the tap wrench. You can see that this is the tap that comes with it. I'm not sure exactly if these are a common size tap, but they'll say helicoil on them. Well, you can maybe keep it from getting mixed up with your other taps. And you just run this in, and you want to use some kind of oil. Cutting oil will be the best. It always helps to have a nice cutting of fluid to use with your machining work. That's what this is really. You're machining something without a machine. You want to start the tap and you want to try to keep it straight. Start running it in. And once it starts to bite and you have a good straight run at it, it's going to get a little bit tighter. And when it does, you want to start to rock it back and forth. What this is doing is helping to clear chips. And it's also taking some stress away. You could easily break a tap off. Taps are made of high-speed stainless, not high-speed stainless, but high-speed steel, they call it. HSS is the abbreviation you'll see on most of the tools made from high-speed steel. It's very, very brittle, but it can be very sharp, and it holds a sharp edge quite remarkably, and can be sharp for a very long period of time, but it's still, you should use oil with it. But if you break a tap off, you're pretty much screwed. Machinists will say if you break a tap off or you break a drill off, you throw the piece away. You don't want to throw your pump here away. That would not be good, because I don't know where to get another one. This one feels like it just bottomed out. You can usually tell when they do, because everything will go have a certain feel to it, and then you'll hit a spot where it changes, and that's when you want to stop, because you don't want to pull the thread you just made out, because this is screwing in. It's going to just cut away everything if you don't stop at the right time. Trying to get some of the chips off. I should have brought a brush out with me, but I don't feel like walking back into the container to get one. I'm going to oil it up and just run it through one more time. Just make any final cut to it, make it nice and perfect. Now this you should be able to do almost with 2 fingers, like I'm doing here. As long as you don't hit your manifold. Yeah. So we're going to just take it on in, give it a final cut, clean out, and there it is at the bottom. Probably would have helped to have a rag out here too to get rid of some of this oil I spilled everywhere. The first few threads are the most important ones when you're doing this, because it's so easy to screw things up. I'm going to try to put this helicoil in. I may have to start over because I didn't bring a wrench for this. So I'm going to see if I can do it by hand. It might be a little bit too tricky to do. No. I have to get a wrench. Alright, so I'm back, and I'm fortunate enough to have a small tap wrench. It's missing a handle. I'll probably make a video at some point about making handles when they're missing. But for now, I put a little screw in it, 1/4 inch, just to give me a little bit of leverage on getting this guy to go in. Alright, let me just twist that helicoil in. I'm hoping I got the hole deep enough. If I don't, I'm probably just going to use a grinder with a sanding disc and sand off the helicoil excess. Kind of limited here as to what I got because of the situation. I think we are all the way in. Yep. You don't want to force it because you're only going to break something. So out she comes. You definitely don't want to use this as a punch to knock this off. Definitely not a good idea, because you're going to need this for the rest of the pack of helicoils, and for the price of them, you don't want to ruin the tool and have to go buy the whole set just because you don't have the tool. Okay, here we are back. I got some tools to finish this off now, and we're going to try and knock this down some because it's going to interfere with my project, but I can't go any deeper because and drill into the pump. We don't want to do that. Most cases you may not have to worry about doing this. This isn't really part of installing a helicoil, but in my case it is. I've got a grinder here with a flap disc. I think these are 80 grit. This one, being as worn out as it is probably not that tight. Try about a 120 now at this point. I'm just going to lightly take this down until I get it smooth, and then hopefully we'll be able to finish this off. Okay, my apologies, the wind took the directions and blew them off the top of the tractor, but anyway, that's smoothed off and good. The last step of helicoil installation in a normal situation is to break off the tang that's inside there that I talked about. I went through my punches and none of them were a perfect fit, but this 5/16 bolt seems to work pretty well. As I mentioned, they want it pretty snug in there. So now I got it in there and on the tang, and let's see if that worked. Yep. Just broke off the tang, which is now resting in the bottom. I may try to fish it out, but I'll probably just leave it in there. It's not bothering me any. I'm going to use a real short bolt when I put this together. So anyway, that's helicoil installation. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe and watch for further videos on the Junkyard Dog tractor and other very interesting machining and shop related topics.